In case you missed it, the Seattle Seahawks signed Jamal Adams to a 4-year extension with a maximum value of $72 million. This contract makes Adams the highest paid safety in the NFL. We went and had a look at the contract and what it means for Adams and Seahawk fans. Enjoy the video we put together. The $72 million contract. The Seattle Seahawks inked Jamal Adams to a 4-year contract extension worth up to $72 million, according to his agency, making the 25-year-old the highest paid safety in the NFL. Adams, who was acquired from the New York Jets prior to last season, has been in talks with the organization since the end of the 2020 season and wants to be the highest paid player at his position, despite indications that the two parties were actually further apart in negotiations. As recently as Sunday night, an agreement was reached on Tuesday. It took 5 months of wrangling, $38 million in guarantees, and some motherly wisdom for Jamal Adams' record-breaking contract extension to be completed. "This is a block off my shoulders," Adams said, "just so excited to be part of such a unique organization. Always been a fan, still a fan, but it just makes it that much better that I'm a part of the family now, so I'm ready to go win some championships." Adams arrived at Seattle's training camp on time, but he did not take part in any activities until Tuesday. Let me say this, Jamal was great throughout the whole process, Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said. "He communicated well with us. He was very good with everybody in the building. He was here, he attended meetings and all that stuff. It just made it respected our program as he went through the process, as we respected his representation." After the Seahawks sent the Jets a package that includes first-round draft picks to 2021 and 2022, as well as a third-round pick in 2021, Carroll stated that the goal the entire time was to keep Adams long-term. Before the Adams deal, Justin Simmons of the Denver Broncos held the highest annual average value on his contract at $15.25 million, according to reports. After playing last season on the franchise tag, Simmons agreed to terms with the Broncos on a 4-year, $61 million contract. The arrangement included guarantees totaling $35 million for Simmons. Adams was selected 6th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft, and his unique skill set proved a wonderful fit for the Seahawks, who employed him in blitz packages and at linebacker as frequently as he lined up at safety. Adams had 9.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 83 tackles in 2020, but he only appeared in 12 games, a career low. Who is trending up at the Seahawks? Following a 27 preseason opener loss to the Raiders, the Seahawks made their first round of roster cuts on Monday, August 16, cutting the roster from 90 to 85 men at the regular season approaches, as the team prepares for its second exhibition game against the Broncos on Saturday. Which guys are vying for a spot on the 53-man roster? Which players are veering off course halfway through camp? Trending up. So, who is trending up? Aaron Fuller. Fuller only got 14 offensive snaps in his debut NFL game, but he earned the start with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett sitting out, and he picked up one of Seattle's 2 first downs in the first half with an exceptional effort after the catch. On the first play, Geno Smith connected with a former Washington standout on a shallow crossing route with cornerback Demnett wrapped all over him 2 yards short of the goal. He slipped through the tackle and picked up 13 yards after contact to get the Seahawks close to middle, keeping his feet driving as the defender sought to knock him down. Smith underthrew his other target, Fuller, on the next play, running down the numbers, and he didn't make another catch. But he's been lighting it up on the practice field lately and is suddenly in the discussion for the final roster slot at receiver. DJ Dallas. Dallas stepped out as a rare bright spot amid an otherwise lackluster offensive performance for the Seahawks. Following a great start at training camp, coming wide open against shaky coverage, quarterback Alex McGough sent it to him in the flats with no defender in sight. He broke a tackle and rushed into the end zone for a 43-yard score while tiptoeing down the sidelines. Dallas carried the ball 5 times for 24 yards, rushing decisively and finishing runs with authority. He hasn't clinched the third down running back job yet, but he provides more punch between the tackles than Travis Homer and a more refined skill set as a receiver and pass protector than Alex Collins, so he should be considered the favorite moving forward. Jake Curran. Curran was undrafted despite being a 4-year starter at California, owing largely to a heart condition discovered during the pre-draft process. But the Seahawks clearly didn't have any concerns about his health, and with Dwayne Brown, Brandon Shell, DeMarco Jones, Tommy Champion, and Cedric O'Healy all out on Saturday, the 6'6", 316-pound rookie started started at right tackle. He didn't allow a single QB pressure while playing every offensive snap, including some time at right guard in the fourth quarter. He wasn't as effective at run blocking, struggling to maintain blocks, especially on zone ideas. Nonetheless, it was a great start, and with all of Seattle's injury worries at tackle, if he can reproduce his performance against Denver next week, he might put himself in contention for a spot on the 53-man roster. Rasheem Green. Given Seattle's depth at defensive end, Green needed to put up a standout effort, which he did. On the first play of the game, the former USC Trojan applied pressure, forcing Nathan Peterman to step up in the pocket and into Brian Moan's arms for the sack. Later in the second quarter, he broke up a run play inside the 10-yard line with immediate penetration, forcing a blocker into the backfield and allowing Ben Burke-Kirven to make a stop for loss. Green was relentless all night, recording a sack, 4 pressures, and 2 quarterback hits, while rushing off the edge from a 3-point and 2-point stance, as well as coming inside in 3-tech alignment. He also appeared to get a piece of Peterman's third down incompletion late in the first half, which nearly led to an interception by Jordan Brooks and forced the Raiders to settle for a field goal. Gavin Heslop. Seattle's cornerback group as a whole struggled in the preseason opener, but if there was a bright spot at the position, it was Heslop, who had a steady, though unremarkable, outing in Vegas. According to Pro Football Focus, the second-year Stony Brooks defender allowed 4 completions for 36 yards on 6 targets and an 81.9 passer rating. While Peterman had some success targeting him early on, he made a spectacular pass breakup against Marcel Aitman, who ran a slant across the middle early in the third quarter. He extended his right arm in front of the receiver to knock the pass away, avoiding a penalty with good technique. The 6-foot, 197-pound corner also stood up against the run, shooting into the backfield in the second quarter to bring down B.J. Emmons for a loss and finished with 5 stops. With the rest of Seattle's corners underperforming, Heslop earned another extended look and will likely see plenty of action against Denver. Trending downwards. The following players were trending downwards. John Ursua. Ursua, who is in his 3rd season with the team, didn't get much action in the first half of Saturday's game, logging only 6 offensive snaps and 3 special team snaps. That's never a good sign for a player on the outside looking in, especially given how well Fuller and undrafted rookie Cade Johnson have performed in camp. Ursua was dropped for a 1-yard loss on a bubble screen, let a punt hit the ground and bounce several yards deeper into Seattle territory, was pummeled on another punt return attempt, resulting in a kick-catch interference penalty. Wasn't the ideal exhibition debut for a player who spent his whole second season on the practice squad. Dom Wood Anderson. Following the news that Colby Parkinson and Tyler Mabry both suffered foot injuries last week, Wood Anderson was given a golden ticket to compete for a roster position. Unfortunately, he struggled in his debut game with the Seahawks, unable to capitalize on his opportunity. He completed 2 of 4 throws and had 1 reception for 0 yards. In the second half, he also received a false start penalty, putting an exclamation point on a dismal outing. Given the present dearth of depth at tight end, he'll get an opportunity to redeem himself against Denver, but he may have blown his best shots to make the team. Trey Flowers. Flowers had a perfect opportunity to close the gap on an ailing DJ Reed for the right cornerback job after garnering a lot of accolades from Carroll and teammates throughout the week for his strong performance in training camp. However, consistency has never been a strength for the 4-year cornerback. He failed to make a play in 31 defensive snaps, allowing 4 receptions on 4 targets for 44 yards in coverage. In the game's first drive, he was in great coverage against receiver Zay Jones along the sideline, but he failed to swivel his head to find the football, allowing a 28-yard connection. Flowers needed to be able to make those types of plays to fight out Reed and reclaim a starting spot, and he didn't. What's your take on Adams' contract? Was it worth the money? Are you a Seahawks fan? And if you are, how do you see their chances this season?